I got a caliper from a 79 Sportster here. It's actually a dual caliper setup on the bike. I'm gonna get them all cleaned up and blown apart, see if I can find a part number for these pads here to replace them. The piston seems to work okay and the rubber doesn't look bad, so I don't think I have to rebuild them. So I have instructions from this person to keep this bike looking as original and old as possible. Just to give you some context, I've got the bike right about yonder. It's a Kickstart 79 Harley Sportster, and upgraded carburetor and exhaust, it looks like. Because of that, I'm trying to keep as many original parts as possible, and it looks to me like this assembly is in okay condition, but when I found it, it was full of like brake fluid dust. So I just blew out these two passages, little tiny passages at the bottom, and it seems like it's making good flow with air. I'll have to see how it primes. But if I can bleed the brakes, I feel like I scrub the sides here and blow it out and probably just leave it at that. Get all this powder out of here. I don't know that I want to include a bunch of degreaser in this because I'm not sure if there's rubber parts on the inside. I don't really like touching degreaser or touching rubber parts, rubber seals with degreaser. The back of this looks pretty nasty. I might take that to the sandblaster and just clean that up, stop some of that corrosion. Hopefully that spring will last a few more centuries. All right, so clean this out a little bit. Just a little side note, I had a machinist introduce this tool to me, and it's been pretty invaluable. You're about to see me use it. This right here is like just called a scraper, but whatever metal it is on the tip, and I forgot, I'll have to put it later or say it later, but whatever metal this is on the tip will completely machine aluminum flat and most steels. It's pretty useful. So I've encountered a problem here. Basically this plate that would go over the top for the clutch, no, sorry, brake lever, fits right there, that piece. It is not milling out how I'd want it to. My guess is that it is slightly warped, which is probably why the stuff in the top turned to dust. So it doesn't really look bad when I put it on here. It's not like much of a gap or anything, but probably what I'm gonna do is keep working this until it starts to get the sides too. This is that stuff that if you don't think about it, you're gonna end up missing it. You're gonna have a problem. So, I will say it took, this is a 79, so 46 years for this part to fail. It's pretty good quality, you know. For things to not warp any piece of, you know, steel, aluminum, mostly aluminum, to not warp after direct exposure to heat for 46 years, that's pretty impressive, you know. It made it a long time. So the next part of this project, 1289, some pretty girls in this shop. Next part of this project, I gotta remove this carburetor, get the part number off of it so that I can order it online. Try to. So the goal here today with the carburetor was just to identify what kind of gaskets I'm looking for, their general size. I might run some lengths on these just to make sure that I get the right size stuff. It appears that we are with a S&S 388, as you can see there. I'm gonna set up an ultrasonic cleaner that I just recently purchased. And then we'll see if we can get this thing rocking and rolling. The 388 is probably what I'm looking for. There's another number right here, 389, which I'm guessing is probably trying to differentiate the power valve assembly from the actual carburetor itself. And then the only thing I get on the body of the carb is just S&S Super E. So I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that the part number is probably the S&S 388, and 389 is probably going to bring me to either, you know, upgraded power valve assemblies or something of the nature. I actually had no problem with the power valve circuit. The idle circuit is what's giving me a problem. I am currently thinking that my idle circuit may run through this tube right here on, let's see if I can show you this one right here, which is not blocked. And when I put compressed air through it, it set you up here, it actually comes out pretty easily. But certainly something was not working right, because this would only run with the enrichment lever pulled. And you see that kind of ties into that idle circuit. It comes up, where are we at? Right here on this side, goes across, and then I believe it dips down. This is probably your idle, like your fuel air ratio screw, and then down and around, and so the enrichment lever adds right at the end. So somewhere in this tract, it looks like it's probably plugged. That being said, I have no real way to know. The power valve stuff was all working. Rod moves down like it should. This one right here, this seems to be okay, but something is going on with the actual idle circuit, because it will only idle with enrichment. So we're gonna order a carb setup, and I'm gonna set up